In this video, I am going to move my fxml files to a different place. So far, I have just had them in the source directory along with the Java classes. And while this has worked just fine and probably will continue to do so, it is not the recommended way. Instead, they belong in a separate resources directory. I will create this shortly. The resources directory is the container for many different things, for example, images, icons, configuration files, style sheets, JavaScript files, text and static content, audio and media files, database scripts, and much more. Basically anything that is not a Java file. And therefore fxml files belong here too. When you package up your program so that you can actually deploy it at your user's computer, keeping the fxml files inside your source directory can potentially cause problems. The list of potential problems seem to be long, but includes tools and plugins. These may not treat fxml files correctly. The build system. I generally use IntelliJ's own build system that's just easier for my small examples. But real companies more often use Gradle or Maven, which may not handle the fxml files correctly. The path to the fxml file is relative to the location of the class, making it difficult to move or rename the class without breaking the path to the fxml file. And convention. If there is a certain recommended way of doing something, it is easier for other people to understand your code base if they know where they can expect to find your fxml files. So let's just see how this works. I have a small project ready here from a previous video, including 2 fxml files currently inside the packages. I also have my controllers and my view manager. I have organized this into more packages than in previous videos, but this is to better explain the point of this video. This also requires me to update the path from the view manager to the fxml files, in 4 places actually. I want to improve this later, so it should not be hard-coded where the fxml files are located, not in this way at least, but later. This path is currently relative to the location of the view manager. The first dot says start in the directory of the view manager, the current location. The 2 dots mean go up 1 directory. Now we are in the presentation directory. Then navigate into the views directory and here find the fxml file. Okay, that's the theory and current setup. And then I want to move the fxml files. First, I create a resources directory just under the module at the same level as the source directory. I do this by creating a normal directory, calling it resources, lowercase r. Maybe that's not really important, but seems to be standard. Then I must mark the directory as a resources root. Notice how the icon changes. I then add a directory called fxml. Sometimes I see people do further subdirectories to organize the fxml files. Maybe that's great. It will, however, complicate my view manager a bit because I can no longer keep a single path. I want to keep things simple for now and just put all the fxml files into the same folder. So now I just drag over my 2 fxml files. There. The location to these files are now changed, so I have to update my view manager, obviously. But first let me extract the first part of the location to 1 constant. I don't want to have to update the path in multiple places in the future. And then update the 4 places this path is used. Great. Next, I need to update the actual path to match the new location. The path I provide is from the resources root. That means I just need to navigate into the fxml folder to find the fxml files. So I changed my constant like this. And let me just run the program to test it, making sure everything is working. Wonderful. And I think finally I want to show what happens when my path is incorrect. You have probably seen this, but let me just show it again here. So let me break my path, and running it we get an error. Because this has been the cause of some annoyance. The error we get is not super clear about what is wrong. it will say something about location is required or location not set, usually along with a null pointer exception. And this just means your path is incorrect. The fxml loader cannot find the file. Now, it would have been nice if it would print out where it is actually looking for my file, so I can compare that to the path that I'm giving and the path that I should be giving. But I'm simply not that lucky. I usually just have to fill around until it works. Now let me just unbreak the path again before I put everything on GitHub. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.